sports car aimed squarely at the Porsche Cayman and the Audi TT. No! The A110 is in fact a mid-engine, rear-drive sports car designed from scratch on a clean sheet of paper. It is like a cartoon car. It should come with a little bubble saying, hit, pow, bam. This whole lightness and smallness thing cascades down in a sort of waterfall of pure joy. The body and the chassis are made entirely of aluminium, and the reason for that is simple. It's lightness. And from that starting point, the Alpine engineers nerded their way through the rest of the car. So, thanks to Alpine's... Let's do this. It's like driving a feather. Here we go. The seats are half the weight of the ones you'll find in any hot Renault. The handbrake is built into the main calipers, rather than being separate, saving another 2.5 kilos. Even the stereo is a bespoke, lightweight design. Oh no! Right then, let's go. Yay! Help! Help! Here comes a really dangerous bend. But even though the A110 is built to minimalist principles, you never feel like you're in some miserable Spartan track day car. Get out of the way!
So despite the ordinary engine, the looks that you're not sure about, and the high price, you liked it.
I did. I loved it, yeah.
Yes, but would you buy one?
I have.
You've bought one of those?
I have, and actually, so has Gordon Murray. I brought a picture of him along, He designed the McLaren F1, so he knows.
Yeah, so it's the sports car of choice for old men with terrible shirts. So that's good to know.
Evidently, but now let's see how fast it goes round the Ebola drone, shall we?
The Ebola drone! So named because it looks like Ebola.
driving. Well informed. Right. Right, let's see where it goes on our lap board. Will it go in the top 10? Oh dear, no it doesn't. Sorry mate, that is dismal for a mid-engine car. It is.
Look, it isn't about things like lap times. I've told you before, he who is first shall be last, and the last shall be first.
Yes, but it's 15th.
It is, yeah.
It's the Romain Grosjean of cars, that is.
Roman who?
Grosjean.
Grosjean.
He's a French racing driver.
Ah.
The 15th best Formula One driver in the world. In fact, you'd like him.
I already do.
Good, good. So we've sorted that out. It's time for us to move on.
There's a new off-road four-wheel drive Lamborghini. It's called the Urus, and to find out if it's any good,
the Urus.
I took the Grand Tour to Sweden, armed
Nice.
with some questions.
Let's do this.
Well, the Urus certainly looks.
Hurry up!
Go. Those turbochargers may be a little bit annoying on the road, but here they're giving with a low-down torque that I need to get up this hill. Oh, dearie me. Watch that, please. For God's sake. That still do. Fast. Oh, look at that for a tidy line. Whoops. Oh. No. This is the first Lamborghini to use turbocharging and the first to have an automatic gearbox. And what that combination means is there's a very slight and rather un-Lamborghini-ish gap between putting your foot down and it getting going.
Oh.
And when it does get going, there are no screaming Here we go! Which means that actually, it's not that safe at all. There's no manual locking differentials. There's no low-range gearbox. All you can do is fire it up and then put the drive system into snow mode. Oh, God. For God's sake. Oh, dearie me. excitement stops and terror begins. That is Lambo Land, that is. Shit. Get a bloody move on. What we've done is use a snowplow to create a racetrack on this frozen lake. And this is what we have planned. I'm going to try and overtake this, a four-wheel drive Porsche 911 Turbo, which is being driven by the Grand Tour's racing driver, Abby Eaton. Have you seen this crack?
I hadn't noticed that before.
Look at the state of this.
You're the heavier car, aren't you?
That's 2.4 tons, and I weigh half a ton. Are you not
3
worried about
ton.
I haven't got my seatbelt on, so if it goes under, I can get out straight away.
that? Seriously?
Yep.
Before the duel began, I had a few practice laps on my own. No. That will do.
Oh,
No, that's inappropriate. Oh, God. To get as far up a ski slope as a Range Rover, but for doing this, it's better. Here we go! There she is. There she is. The bell has sounded. The race is on. Now we'd find out what's what on our specially designed trend. To make this car, Lambo's engineers had a good rummage of in Volkswagen's parts bin. So the engine, the 42 V8, is from a Porsche Carrera. The rear axle and air suspension is from a Bentley Bentayga. The platform on which it sits and a lot of the dashboard is from Audi S7. So does that mean this isn't really a Lamborghini at all? It's tricky.
Come on, turn. I'm astonished. Now we go on to the really fast bit. Whoops.
Oh, for fuck's sake, where am I going?
It is quite scary through here.
Come on, you can have her! Come on! For lap after lap, the big, heavy Urus clawed at the rear end of the 911 Turbo. Oh, God! Really? No! But eventually, I had to admit defeat. I can't get past that 911, and that's just an end of it. But I can keep up. And in an off-road car? That is fairly astonishing. It really is. Certainly, I can believe Lamborghini's claim that this is the fastest off-road car in the world.
I got paid for that.
That was your job.
It was work. Doing that was my work. It probably won't be the fastest off-road car in the world for very long, though, because both Aston Martin and Ferrari have got big SUVs coming out this year.
Yeah, whatever. Thing is, could you really tell people that you have a Urus? Because it sounds like a minor alien out of Star Trek.
Yeah.
But it does work as a Lamborghini.
Yeah. But no.
Well, this is excellent consumer advice.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sadly...
very clear, very clear.
The thing is, after I made that film, which was quite good fun, I came home and I thought, the trouble is, it could do with being a bit more Aventador-ish. It could do with being a bit more mad.
Are you saying you changed your mind?
Yes.
Oh, great. So Prime Minister Clarkson returns from the summit. I've declared war. But on the plane home, I had another think about it, and I'm not so sure now. I've changed my mind.
Exactly, that's what I've done.
Good. Well, since we're in such a sensible frame of mind, I'd like to move things on now with a brief history lesson. This time, though, the death sent shockwaves through.
Let's do this.
Having cut his teeth in sports...
Hurry up! Oh my God! I am sitting where Jim Clark sat.
That's not what I want to hear.
Move on.
Oh!
Thank F1 car, which meant it wasn't just fast on the straights, but quicker through the corners too.
Watch this. Oh my God. Oh, I was born to do this.
And in the 1963 season, Clark used it to win a record 7 out of the 10 Grand Prix.
Winner is Jim Clark. Nobody could possibly catch him now.
But 1963 was just a warm-up for what was to come. To get a true picture of Clark's genius, we must look at another year, 1965, when he hit heights no driver had reached before, or has done since. A modern Formula One driver does 21 races a year, and often complains that's too many. In 1965, Jim Clark raced
100?
in 63
63?
races. Some of these cars look similar, but they are all completely different. In a car like this, he'd do Formula One Championship. He raced in the British Formula 2 Championship and the French Formula 2 Championship in this car. He raced in the Tasman Series, a sort of Australian Grand Prix for Down Under, in this car. And then there's this Lotus Cortina, in which he decided to race in touring cars. And then if all that wasn't enough, he decided to go for the Indy 500.
Why not?
First up was the Tasman Series in Australasia. Out of the 15 races, Clark won 11 and took the crown. Then, 2 races, he was jumping into his Lotus Cortina and racking up touring car victories.
Gotta keep the pressure on. Go, go. Oh, no. Unleash the beast! Right, here we go. Come on, come on. Go, go, go! Oh my God! Time to play. Yes! Are you ready? Oh.
And on top of all that, there was America.
The Indianapolis 500 has been called the greatest spectacle in racing.
America's most prestigious race would be a tough challenge. Oval racing at higher average speeds than he was used to against seasoned Indy veterans. For the Indy 500, Clark raced a special upstart from across the pond, take a rookie driving test before he could compete.
Go!
Come Indy weekend, the upstart from across the pond qualified on the front row. And then, in the race itself, Clark up against America's finest oval racers, won by just over 2 minutes.
Whew.
Get a bloody move on.
Jim Clark, first European to win at Indianapolis since 1916, set a new record of
Could have driven the car anywhere near as quickly as Jimmy did because he was just so precise.
We're off.
Right now. Come on, fit it in.
Besides a supernatural ability to coax speed out of the car, Clark also possessed another vital skill.
Here we go!
For example, he was leading the race when his gearbox started to let go. Did he give up?
No.
Nope. Instead, he drove the rest of the race, and we're talking 160 miles an hour in the wet, with one hand on the steering wheel and the other holding the gear lever in place. And he still won. By nearly 5 minutes.
Fuck me. Sorry, hello. Fuck me though.
Let a bloody move on.
However, in 1968, driving the Lotus 49, another game changer from
It's out of the way. All of that's amazing. Let's do this. Good night.